I think I'll get some cardio in this afternoon on my way to the 8100. Last time we were helping Austin seed all of this ground as soybeans, but that means I did not finish the rolling I was trying to do for my south field and the Missouri crossing ground. The bales are still sitting at about 94 to 98% fermented. I believe the co-ops are still not done as well. We're going to wait until next week to fully be able to store or sell these things. The reason we still got to finish the rolling is because the roller resets the grass growth state, and if you get behind, yeah, you're going to have half a field that's not even able to be cut. Nate still has my manure spreader, so that cans the option of throwing manure on the field. I will be taking time to look at Nate's backhoe. I have yet to get into it, so I'm not sure if it's a CVT or it's an actual gear select transmission. That'll definitely give me an insight on what could have been the fail point. Other than rolling this field and the Missouri crossing, I'm pretty much straight out of luck. I got Nate's backhoe, Austin's field, and the bales that I have to go and work with, but none of that stuff, besides the backhoe, can be worked on till probably next week. We'll see you guys here in just a bit. I really need to put it in order for my farm soap. I'm kind of getting low, but at least I have the water. I really did not help myself when telling Nate to just park that trailer anywhere. I blocked in the Kubota. If the bales are ready for transport, we are going to store a little over 80% of them. If this line should be 21. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5.
12 seconds later.
Might have skipped one, but that's 20 or 21. We could just sell the entire line from my field because that saves us having to do all of the account switching, and the rest of these, throw them in the shed. I do feel bad. I ended up having to run right before everybody else was able to jump on the server, so today's episode is just going to be me and you guys. That might sound horrifying, but I promise you guys I won't be that bad. Also gonna have to try to remember that weight is sitting in the grass. Kind of blends in. We'll start down at the co-op, being the furthest distance away. And because it's so close to Austin's front yard, we are gonna check if we have the ability to mow the yard. Summertime cannot get here fast enough. If you guys don't know anything about me, doing yard work is like my peace happy time. It is my way I can disconnect, get some exercise, and it really just brings me down to earth. Let me know in the comment section, what is something that you do that really can just help you get your mind off of life for a little bit? While I'm in line loading up these bales, I want to bring something to your guys' attention. Over the last few weeks, I have been working with one of my channel sponsors to really help boost the results that this channel has been getting over the last 2 months. That is Spotter Studio. If you guys don't know who this is, they're a brainstorming engine that YouTubers like me, Dude Perfect, and a handful of other content creators use to help them with video ideas, title generations. Haha, my kryptonite. I cannot title a video sometimes to save my life, but the last one is thumbnail designs. I don't use half the tools on the software, but I can tell you guys from experience that my title game has gone through the roof. Meaning a public service announcement to any and all creators that want to try and take that next step in helping make your channel better. I got a link down in the description that you guys can try Spotter Studio for 60 days, absolutely zero risk to you as long as you make an account. But it's just such a great tool that really has helped me make my content that much more presentable to you guys as an audience. Austin's beans are coming up nicely, but it kind of looks like they got some weeds in there. Dirty beans. I've really been spoiled by this bale trailer. The short amount of time that I was loading bales over on Walter's farm, it did bring me back to the hay farm and my Nebraska farm series, but oh, it has been so nice to be able to just go out and grab 24 bales or however many of them that are on the field and just haul them back, dump them in the shed, and call it a day. If it is true that Nate ended up investing in his dairy cattle, I am really going to be curious to see how that turns out. Ooh, if I check my bale log, that string should have 21 bales in it, and that's 3. That makes a full trailer. I figured that I was going to have an extra bale or 2 when I loaded that on the trailer, but no, that is one exact full load. We'll store this and sell that. If my math serves me correct, my value of silage is 224,000. I really hope that's not counting everyone else's bales, but it would have to be. because I do not have 625,000 liters of silage sitting in this line. Those are 9,000 a pop. I would need at least 11 to make 100,000. This is about 200,000 as it sits. So that's hay valued in total, meaning each season is only worth roughly $319,000 and some chunk change. I thought that seemed fishy because if I'm only able to sell a trailer for $65-ish thousand, I wasn't really lied to. It just was adding the analytics from the other farms to equate a full value. Jumping clams, Batman. We're a bale short. What? My data states I had 21 hay bales from my backyard, and the Missouri Crossing had 3. Hey, ding dong? That's because this is from the South Field, which only had 20. I owe myself an apology. If I read the fine print, my bale log says 21 bales, hay. But if I look at the South Field, it says 20 bales, silage. That'd make a lot of sense. Read, Buck, read! My guess is either $56,000 to $59,000 because I don't have that last bale. Could it be more? Yes. Could it definitely be less? Also, absolutely. The real magic trick is getting them all sold in one fell swoop. $62,685! Heck yeah! If you missed why Grant had to buy these bales, in our last episode we had some mod problems that were causing the server to have stuff, fall through the ground. Oh, we have a pallet of cheese. Sorry, squirrel moment. To make up the difference, he bought 14 of these little ones because they're half the value of the big ones. Then he just reimbursed his account because he owned the bales anyway. Be sure to let Grant know in his comment section that I carried his bales over for him. You guys ridiculed me when I got that $400 by accident. I want you to bombard his comment section for once. Better yet, hose everything I just said. Everybody needs to comment in Grant's chat, go get your silage bales. I am not going to remind him again. I made those with my baler, so at this point, it's been a year. I'm going to classify those as my bales. That's my wrap on them. Correction, it's Nate's wrap with my baler. What on earth are you doing? You making a garden in your front yard? And what are those? Did he buy new tractors? It's got a loader on it. Looks a little dorky because it's the 7Rs. He bought a 4960. Of course. What's the other one? 55. Okay. Fair point. I'm also not surprised he still hasn't taken the spaces off that 8110. Not putting any weight on the trailer, I promise. I'm just trying to get his bales in the shed. I don't know what he means by he needs hay. That is plenty of hay. Let's pop our way over to Austin's in the MacDon, start ripping away at that grass ground, and seeing if we can get a little more than 10 bales. I think the hardest part about dissecting this plot is where Austin's ground starts and Jake's ground begins. Austin did chop up that massive portion on the far northwest corner of the farm. So we are really only going to get this ground, the waterway, his front yard, and then kind of just the mismatched areas in between his bin site and this roadside. I think we'll tune in to Farm Sim's greatest radio station, 3800 The Buck. Sit back, relax, and watch me mow.
They came in thinking top dollar to that old cotton crop farmer. They knocked on his screen door and he said, Lord, what you need, boys? And they said, you know, all the others went and cashed out. We got the subdivision all mapped out. It'll sit right here on this land, and you could leave town a rich man. And he said, boys, whatever you're offering, it won't be enough. 'Cause I got a little girl that used to swing right there. I still see her pink bow in her brown hair. She's in the big city, but she still calls home. What's she gonna do if she comes back and we're gone? And over there under that white oak tree, beneath the moss is where my best buddy's buried. Lasted 13 hunting seasons running strong. Keep your money cause a man can't leave his dog. And over there's where I got down on one knee. You can't buy that kind of dirt cheap.
There's one. Move it on to the next. Move it on over. Move over, little dog. Mean old dog is moving. What's going to be nice about this time versus the last time I cut this ground is that Austin finally connected all the fields together, so I don't have to worry about all those stupid nooks and crannies that I had to get to last time. And I have my priorities of where I'm going to leave the cutoff line. I'm not going to cut his front yard. Last time I learned that lesson, that was a nightmare to try and bale. If that waterway wasn't there, I'd make this one giant cutting loop, but we'll just chop this field as one area. I do like that diagonal cut. We'll cut the rest of the field in that direction once we start making our passes after the headland. What did I just tell myself? I said I was going to do the diagonal lines, and I got to the end. What do? Start another headland. What do I have to do? Make a fourth headland because the break. Pay attention, Buck. Come on, get your head in the game. On a positive note, the inside is 4 passes. Guess it's not all that bad. Prove me wrong. The hardest part about all of this is not going to be trying to dissect where bales go, how much we're going to sell, what they're going to sell for. It's going to be, can I actually achieve 4 full cuttings and get to my bale goal of 500 bales a season, which I have yet to add Austin's stuff to my list. Wait a minute. We're not even done yet. We still got that top chunk on top of the big field 15 we can mow. Oh, boys, we are definitely becoming millionaires. We are going to be billionaires in this market. That field's going to be a stream. I know you guys won't be able to see it, but if you catch that one live, yeah, this is the part where I realize that's a stream. There must be something going on with the soil types in this area because we have gotten some major weed problems going on. Let me take a look at our oat crop, because that looks about the same as the corn ground where there is a lot of weeds mixed in. If that's the case, I might go and fill up down at the co-op. Yeah, look at that. Whoa. Whoa. Gonna need some work. I think every single chunk of fields besides the grass have weeds in them. That is crazy. I wonder if I were to go and grab the 7R down at the co-op, that would fix the weeds on that. We might test it when we get this whole grass chunk mowed off. Because if I can just yank the weeds out with the weeder and not risk destroying the crop, we'll just go and do that quick. Otherwise, I'm going to have to pay for herbicide chemical and also the fertilizer chemical. I at least have the money to do said things now. And that's still an expense that I didn't really want to have to pay. Last season, I mowed the waterway all the way down to the ditch and we never had any problems. We'll do the same this year. We just got a problem when we started mowing where all of the areas junctioned together. Kind of got a little claustrophobic, but I think this year's pattern is going to be the way I'll go from here on out. I will need to send the mower in to get serviced after this cutting. Our service bar is down about halfway. I'd rather stay on top of that than get behind and have to pay a bigger price tag than I already have to. I'm not sure if I told Nate about the MacDon header situation that I'm running with Austin. Because Nate planted the oats south of my co-op grass, I'll probably pay Austin to see if we can use that pickup header and to do the same thing we're doing in this field. Because it's kind of pointless to have that machinery just sit there and do nothing when we bought it for a specific purpose, and it's only used one time for that little piece. Austin gets to keep the crop in that field regardless. I get the straw, but we might just cut him a check for some of the grain from that South Oats field. That way we can use the headers. As much as I'd love to put this ground a legitimate grass seed, it's not really the area you'd want to do that, so we are going to leave all of Austin's grass as traditional meadow. With all of the waterway and technically I think his main yard mode, I think that's all we have. Let's head down, grab that weeder, and try it out on the oats. I don't know what's gonna happen. I can't recall what stage the weeder can't do it anymore. I think at medium it can, but it might be a little too far gone. Worst comes to worst, I'll just put in the order myself and do the work from the co-op. I don't know when Jake's going to be able to get out to it, and I'd like to get it done before it really gets out of hand. I'll just write down how many hours we put on it in the logbook and give him a call to tell him what I did. This does not have row crop tires on it. I might just turn off crop destruction if it lets me, or it might not destroy it. If it destroys it, I'll back up. Does it destroy it? It does not destroy it. Awesome. But does this do anything? That's the money question. I think it is. Is that weeding? Yes. That is awesome. That's what I wanted. Well, maybe. Hold on. Partial weeds. I can live with that. Does it give me a yield boost, though? It does. It gave me 5%. Try to stay as far away from my hay runs as possible because it will destroy them if I run over it with this. 30.4. Just got to remember that number so we can add on to it once we're done. If only it took it this long to plant the field. That would have really been nice. We had a massive hassle trying to get that seeder through the field between the 8100 not having enough weight in the rear and possibly a little underpowered to be doing the job that it was until we got it serviced. There's a chance I might run down to Nate's field and do the same thing at his area, because if the weeds are really taking over the whole map, we might as well get on top of it. I know spraying them is going to completely get rid of them and give us the biggest yield boost, but the one thing that's going to help us the most is, of course, putting that second application of fertilizer. The ground itself does need work, but Austin doesn't really have the tools to do that, and quite frankly, this isn't my ground to begin with. Why I'm taking care of it like it is, I don't know. Maybe because I want a really good return on my straw. This might sound absolutely stupid when I say it, but that tornado kind of really worked in my favor because it ripped out all of the weeds right through the middle of the field. That is just wackadoo. If we don't want to run chemical in the field, the tornado did probably about 1/8 of the work for us. Sadly, this is not soybeans, so I can't say the term I usually say, but I'm going to say it anyway. These are some clean-looking beans. Got some clean beans. Except it's oats, so we got clean oats. I, however, need to run back to the farm and grab the 8100. We only put 1/10 of an hour on the tractor. I don't think that really matters. Maybe we put 2/10. Who cares? But drying grass is next on the list. Then we'll jump over to the baler. I think that'll probably wrap out our day because I don't have very much else to do. You know, I don't think I ever put 2 and 2 together that there was a fire extinguisher in the cab of this tractor. I've had this tractor for what, a year now, and I'm just noticing that? Only big concern noted at the beginning is that the grass looked like it might have been one stage short of being the fully grown. I think with the amount of material we got, we'll get at least 20-some bales. Don't believe it'll make that much of a yield difference, but if I can get at least 25 bales, I will be happy. I didn't really need to, but I straightened out this edge. When I pulled this last line, it made it where I could easily make one pass to make it a straight line. That field's ready to go. We got the waterway and the main yard to take care of, and we'll be on to the baler. I gotta say, I don't know if it's just how perfect these fields line up, or if I'm just in straight dumb luck. Parts of this ground all like perfectly lined up as 6 passes, and that's 3 passes for this. I can't make this stuff up. Obviously areas like this they get wide, they get narrow, and I have to find a way to pattern it. It's looking pretty promising. I'll grab myself a pallet of bale net, but I think we're going to be sitting pretty. I love how slightly broken the bale net pallets are, because this thing still says I got 5 of them in there, and I know that I only have 1, but the 1 is sitting in the most broken spot. Does it drive anybody else nuts, or is it just me, that the tail lights, which would be the traditional indicators on the regular 605N, do not work on this? The lights are all up top. Like, you could turn on the lights, you could turn on the turn signals, nothing. They do not light up, and it drives me up a wall. Of course it would empty out right on the end of a swath. Why would it not just let me go 2 more feet? Come on, man. There's a very good chance we might be able to get out of here with 30 to 40 bales. I haven't even gotten all the way around, and we're already up to 6. And look at how many scraps there are still laying around. The merger does a lot better job of throwing swaths. That rake, it's great, but it needs to have the back wheels brought in just a little bit more to make these rows be a bit more packed. Just shy, and I guarantee you if I went and looked for more, I could make 11 bales out of that section, but we'll leave it at 10 for the time being. Just like some other fields, I never did collect the data from how many bales the ground pulled, but that allows me to use this as my test dummy to see what each year is going to be able to pull. The ground's going to be worth more depending on which type of bale I end up producing. Man, even the Vermeer's starting to clock it up on the hours. This thing's got almost 8. Well, now it just did. It rolled over 8.5. Amazing how many hours you can put on these machines when you're not paying attention. The Deere is still beating out the Kubota in our fantastic race of which tractor's going to have more hours. I don't know if I can see that Kubota pulling back ahead anytime soon. I've been getting used to doing so many of the tasks with the Deere, it's not even funny. Part of that is just due to the service bill that those are gonna inquire when we have to go get them serviced. The Kubota's probably gonna be somewhere in the $5,000 to $6,000 range to fix, while the Deere might be closer to $1,200. Like buying a used car. The Impala that I got, I'd rather put an engine and a transmission in it because you could get the engine and the transmission for literally half the cost of what a new used car would be. Plus it's paid for. Final prediction, 28. We most certainly are going to crest over the 24 bale mark, so we will not be picking up the bales in this episode, but I will check back with you guys on our final total of what all Austin's ground is going to bring us and tally up that to our current bale marks so we can know what we can expect per cutting, and by the end of the season we can also have an estimate. As much as I'd like to play hide and seek to find all the material to get that 26th bale, I think we're gonna call it a day. It was a valiant effort, but still about 1,050 liters short. I just don't see myself being able to find that unless I picked up each individual scrap. That is not even close to worth it. Because there's only 25 bales, I theoretically could just go and grab the bale trailer, load it up, and then put the last bale on the spikes up front. But we're going to save that for next time, so thank you guys all for tuning in to Bucked Up Hay Farming. Hope you did have a fantastic day. Be sure to check out the County Line Revival playlist up in your top right-hand corner. But remember to keep it light, keep it loose, keep it fresh, and most importantly, keep it fun. We shall see you guys all in the next one. This is the Rental Man out. Peace.